Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And thank you for being here with us. 888-900-3393. Number to call. And you can always tweet us at Pat Unleashed. First of all, let me tell you, but Pat Gray Unleashed is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Surf the web with peace of mind. Sign up now at expressvpn.com/unleashed. So hard to know in all of this hoopla with COVID-19, with the pandemic, who's telling the truth and who isn't. Most of us not being scientists, microbiologists, we don't know how best to prevent the spread of a pandemic, or how best to continue the economy during the spread of the pandemic. Some doctors are saying one thing, and Anthony Fauci saying another. So who do you believe? It's really difficult. There is a video called Plandemic, and it's put out by a scientist named Judy Mikovits, and it's a 26-minute video. We obviously don't have time to play the entire thing, but we're going to have her on the show today because this thing has been put up on the web and then taken down, and then it's posted and it's taken down. And so there's a lot of claims in this video about vaccines, about Tony Fauci, about the HIV/AIDS epidemic and what was going on during that time. And clearly this scientist, Judy Mikovits, is no fan of Anthony Fauci. And so she's being taken to task by others because you can't criticize Anthony Fauci. He's the golden calf now. People worship at the altar of Anthony Fauci. Now, maybe Fauci is correct on absolutely everything he's saying. I just don't feel like he is. I just don't think he is.
I don't think he can be, since he's already changed his tune on
he's
a couple things.
That's exactly right. So Anthony Fauci is a little bit fallible, we've seen. Because was it January he was telling us, or was it February? He was telling us America, United States won't have to worry about this virus.
As recent as February 29th.
Okay, so essentially March 1st. Mm-hmm. Any other year, that'd be March 1st. Yeah. He's telling us that... you
have to change your lifestyle.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Just live your life.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we have that? Maybe we don't have that clip at the ready. But that's one of those things that we need to keep on file. Like
I'll tell you, a good, a good employee would have that at the ready, anticipating our needs. You know what I mean?
I truly hope you're not talking about me.
No, I'm talking about the people in the TV room right now. Behind us, right? That should have anticipated our needs and had that at the ready.
That do great things and do somersaults during the show, but yes, reading our mind apparently not on their list of things to accomplish.
Well, you call it reading our minds. I call it anticipating our needs.
There you go. I like that spin. Mm-hmm. That's good. Predict the future down there.
Anyway, what they hopefully do have at the ready is just a brief section or a couple of sections on the Plandemic video that is circulating right now. Mm-hmm. And we're going to show this to you so that you know who she is and that she's coming up, in an hour and a half. She'll be on around 7:30 this morning. Judy Mikovits. Here's some of the things she has to say.
So you made a discovery that conflicted with the agreed-upon narrative.
Correct.
And for that, they did everything in their powers to destroy your life.
Correct.
You were arrested.
Correct.
And then you were put under a gag order.
For 5 years, if I went on social media, if I said anything at all, they would find new evidence and put me back in jail. And it was one of the few times I cried, and it was because I knew there was no evidence the first time. And when you can unleash that kind of force to force someone into bankruptcy with a perfect credit score, And so that I couldn't bring my 97 witnesses, which included the heads, Tony Fauci, Ian Lipkin, the heads of the public health in HHS, who would have had to testify that we did absolutely nothing wrong.
And so what did they charge you with?
Nothing.
But you were in jail.
I was held in jail with no charges. I was called a fugitive from justice. No warrant. Literally drugged me out of the house. Our neighbors are looking at what's going on here. They searched my house without a warrant, literally terrorized my husband for 5 days. They said, if you don't find the notebooks, if you don't find the material, which was not in my possession but planted in my house.
As if you took intellectual property from the laboratory. Is
Yes.
that correct?
It was intended to appear as if I took confidential material, names, and intellectual property from the laboratory. And I could prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that I didn't. Heads of our entire HHS colluded and destroyed my reputation, and the Department of Justice and the FBI sat on it and kept that case under seal, which means you can't say there's a case or your lawyers are held in contempt of court. So you can't even get a lawyer to defend you. So every single due process right was taken away from me, and to this day remains the same. I have no constitutional freedoms or rights. The AMA was saying, doctors will lose their license if they use hydroxychloroquine, the anti-malarial drug that's been on the list of essential medicine worldwide for 70 years. Dr. Fauci calls that anecdotal
data.
It's not storytelling if we have thousands of pages of data saying it's effective against these families of viruses. For 50 cents a dose, we could protect 1,000 people for 7 days, 2 doses a day, with one $600 vial. And that hasn't been done. This is essential medicine, and they keep it from the people.
Okay, so that's just a brief look at some of the things she has to say. Now, apparently she believes that Fauci is behind a lot of this, and he's covering things up, and he delayed treatments during the HIV/AIDS early years so that he could profit from it. I mean, she makes some really staggering accusations against Fauci. And then the hydroxychloroquine thing, it'll be interesting to talk to her about that because now there are people who are saying, well, it caused people to have heart attacks. And there's no evidence whatsoever that it does anybody any good. Even though there is evidence that it's done. I mean, there's proof that some people have had their lives saved by hydroxychloroquine. So we'll discuss that and much more with her in about an hour and a half. Pretty amazing stuff. Interesting what she has to say. And again, who do you believe? Not being a scientist, who do you believe? I don't know, but we'll let you hear what she has to say, and then you be the judge afterwards.
I believe Cardinal Tobin.
Okay, have you talked to him today?
Today, no.
Okay.
I don't want to call this early, but I'll get in line.
Cardinal Joe Tobin's always awake because he's got so much advice to dispense. Mm-hmm. He's always got to be at the ready. 888-900-3393 and at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. Also, something else interesting from Joe Rogan. Just had Elon Musk on his show again. Elon Musk he's under fire right now because he's going against the great Anthony Fauci and saying, hey, we need to get back to work here. Let us get back to work. If you want to stay home, stay home. But for those of us who want to get back into the wheel of the economy, let us do that so that we don't go into a deep, deep depression. Here's some of what he had to say on Joe Rogan. Stick it up your rectal
cavity. Put that in your pipe.
Yeah, whatever.
And Elon Musk and Joe Rogan both going to make the point that cigarettes kill 500,000 Americans a year. And not
Still legal.
One politician is calling for them to be banned.
Yeah, exactly right. That's right. I guess that was last week when Musk appeared on his show. And he's going to get his teeth kicked in from the left because of all of this. You can't say these things as a prominent person.
Yeah, common sense has no place in the American dialogue anymore.
It really doesn't.
And I love how, he threatened to move to Texas, and you go through social media yesterday, and you've got mayors around Texas pitching
inviting
their
him.
cities.
Yep.
Perfect place. In fact, I think Fort Worth was saying, we're a big city with the most available free space, available space. Come down here.
And then, surprise, they let him open up in California.
Alameda County says, nah, it's cool.
No, did we say not to open? No, we meant open. Huh. It was upside down Wednesday when we said that to you.
Wow.
Last week. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was upside down Wednesday.
He's absolutely right, though. I mean, and I'm so glad that somebody of prominence, someone of wealth, is sticking up like this for the Constitution and for our liberties.
Yeah, because it just doesn't normally happen.
I mean, we are a society that is largely ignorant of the Constitution.
Yeah.
We've allowed to go unchecked progressive policies that are meant to protect us from ourselves for decades now, centuries, or, at least a century now, right? And this is, when a crisis comes, your government overlords don't let it go to waste. And if you haven't been conditioned to fight back, there's too many people rolling over, so I'm glad to see Elon Musk.
And many years ago, like a decade ago, Rahm Emanuel let that cat out of the bag that we never let a good crisis go to waste. They always take advantage of it. And I think that was supposed to be kept secret. Shh, Rahm, that's just between us. Use your inside the head voice on that. But he didn't. And so now, every single time, I think back to that. Because they never do let a good crisis go to waste. Let me tell you about iTarget Pro. With all of the nonsense that we're dealing with right now, the social distancing and things being closed and things being open, you don't have to worry about any of that with iTarget Pro. If you want to go practice with your gun, just do it in your house safely. Because iTarget Pro uses a laser bullet in the chamber instead of an actual bullet, and that shows you where your shots land on the target. So you can do this around your children, with your children, help them practice.
Wait, it doesn't put holes in the wall?
It doesn't put holes in the walls or other people,
work? Which
is really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Weird.
Really good. Again, it uses their proprietary app and a laser bullet, and it comes at all major calibers from .223 to .556. You can stay sharp with almost any firearm you own. Right now, get 10% off plus free shipping when you use the offer code PAT. Don't let circumstances dictate whether you're going to train or not. Take control back with iTarget Pro. It's the letter I, then targetpro.com. iTargetPro.com, offer code PAT.
Pat Gray, Unleashed.
So yeah, you can always count on the media attacking all of these people who are making common sense, and then the ones who aren't making sense at times or contradict themselves. They're held up as the absolute authorities. They can't be wrong. They're not wrong. We believe everything they say. It's amazing. CNN can't even get the map correct on the United States of America. But you need to listen to everything else they say. Look at this little geographically challenged segment on CNN. Was this from yesterday?
Yeah.
Dr. Ashish Jha, the director of Harvard Global Health Institute, they were talking about...
oh, look at that. There's Michigan on the map there.
There's Michigan.
Or is that Missouri?
I'm sorry.
I get them confused. What in the world?
Missouri, Michigan, they both start with M.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Close enough.
They've labeled Michigan, Missouri, and just circled it. Well, we circled it on the map.
Missouri waking up going, oh, crap. Is Whitmer a governor now? No.
Thank you, CNN, for showing how infallible you are. That's great. They have also tapped Greta Thunberg as one of their coronavirus experts.
How dare you?
Well, because, this must be known. She is, of course, the climate change wizard, I thought. But she also apparently is now an expert on the coronavirus.
This is going to be meaty tonight. Think about this. When she's sitting up there
I can't wait to hear
discussing her pet issue. She defers to others. She has these 1 or 2 word answers. It's terrible. It's just terrible. Unless she has her speech right in front of her, she has nothing.
Right.
Now she's going to be talking about the
coronavirus
that has existed for all of 6 months, maybe.
They put together this panel, and so it's going to be a town hall tonight called Coronavirus Facts and Fears.
This is going to be...
Our First Amendment warriors are only bringing viewers the best of experts, such as former CDC Director Richard Besser. Okay, you can understand that.
Sure.
Former Director of the CDC.
It sounds like viruses would be in his wheelhouse.
You would think so. HHS Secretary Kathleen Sebelius. I can understand her being on the panel. And then, of course, teenage climate activist Greta Thunberg, who is been elevated to a scientist now? Wow.
Boy, this is, woo! I can't wait. At least no sports are on to distract me. It's just going to be popcorn and Greta.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I mean, this isn't from the Babylon Bee. This is real stuff. This is actual CNN in the year 2020.
I mean, I would say that there are certain elements of this virus that are a hoax, certain elements of it. Mm-hmm. And since she has a background of peddling hoaxes,
okay, all right, yeah,
I can see why she would have been
standpoint.
tapped
You
for
might
this.
be able to understand it. You know what she's going to do is she's going to blame climate change for the spread or the cause of the creation of the coronavirus.
Take a drink every time Greta says the word climate tonight, and you'll be on the floor in 5 minutes.
This is the Earth taking revenge on us. That's what this is. We brought this on ourselves because we've treated the environment so poorly.
Yeah.
And so it created this virus, and now it's killing us with it.
And there's also a bet that if the word Gaia is mentioned during the CNN coronavirus town hall tonight, you win big. So be listening for the word Gaia.
If they use the word Gaia, I will. My head will explode.
Someone will.
888-900-3393. That should be fascinating. I don't know, because tomorrow, if we're doing Frivolous Friday.
We got to hold it till Monday?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if I can handle listening to Greta Van Thunberg talking about how the Earth is taking its revenge on its human inhabitants. I don't know if I can handle it. It's bad enough listening to Fauci every day. 888-900-3393. And by the way, I guess Trump supporters are clamoring for Fauci to be fired. Get rid of him because he contradicts the president, on a pretty regular basis. He shows up on CNN all the time. CNN loves him, and as do all leftists. But it's virtually impossible for him to fire Fauci. Can you imagine the firestorm there would be if he were to finally get rid of that thorn in his side? He just can't. I don't think practically he can do that. There's just no way. It would be the only thing that MSNBC and CNN, CBS, NBC, ABC focus on from now until the end of this virus. But President Trump did voice some frustration yesterday at the nation's top infectious disease specialist after he warned a day earlier against reopening schools and businesses too quickly. Trump said, I was surprised by his answer, actually. It's just, to me, it's not an acceptable answer, especially when it comes to schools. And again, I think we discussed this. Was it on this show or was it on my segment with Glenn and Stu yesterday? There's almost no children that have this disease. Their kids are not, as a rule, a few of them have gotten it. But as a rule, children don't even get this. And certainly not in a severe illness way. So why have we closed all the schools? The schools are probably at the least risk imaginable.
Yeah. And you recall, and go back, Andrew Cuomo himself said, it was a mistake. Our
Right.
bad. Yeah, our bad.
Right. And not only have they closed the schools and, really blown off the rest of this year, I don't think they're going to open at all. Some people are saying that they're not going to open next fall. Okay.
State of California.
All right.
College system, 23 schools.
Yeah, unreal.
Nah.
During an appearance before lawmakers Tuesday, Fauci, of course, warned that students looking to return to campuses in the fall would likely not have a coronavirus vaccine available to them.
Oh, well.
He suggested that instead, schools open cautiously, said in some places schools should remain closed in the fall. He said we hear this all the time. If states reopen before meeting the criteria set out by the Trump administration, they risk the everybody's going to die. In other words, everybody's going to die if you open too quickly.
Or if we don't have a vaccine.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And even he admits the vaccine may not even be effective. Might not be effective for everybody. There might not be a be-all cure for this.
Could make it worse. They don't know anything.
They don't know anything.
But yet, we're going to be required in many circles to have that vaccine to continue on with life. It's going to get ugly.
And when we get the vaccine, my guess is they will make it mandatory for you to receive it. And that is really going to be a problem for a lot of people, as we've seen in the last week here with this audience.
What did the mayor of L.A., I think, said, yeah, you know what, L.A. is not going to fully open until there's a vaccine.
Okay, well, good luck.
Okay, well, just write your town off.
In 50 years, we'll visit the ruins of the town that used to be known as Los Angeles.
Yeah, that's right. And you had a Pat Head last night, got like an alert on her phone basically saying you better wear a mask if you're in LA. And she was like, am I going to have to, because the order is you leave your house, you wear a mask. And she's saying, okay, so if I take my trash out, I'm going to have to wear a mask? Because look at that. All Angelinos are now required to wear face coverings when they leave the house.
God, that's just incredible.
Okay.
That's just incredible.
And you wonder why people like Elon Musk are threatening to move to Texas.
Right.
He had a lot of good stuff to say. He's definitely a capitalist, that's for sure. He made that clear.
Yeah, and he's not trying to slam the door shut behind him. All these other billionaires want to slam the door shut behind him, and now they want to employ socialism so that you can't get where they are. It just gives me a massive rash, among other things.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, you probably don't want to see it.
I'm just curious,
like
just hearing them talk.
Yes, gives me a rash.
Wow, that must.
Yeah, is that amazing?
You should carry earplugs around. That does sound bad.
It is bad.
Is there an ointment?
It is bad. The things I have to endure, it shouldn't have to be tolerated. Garcetti, terrifying warning to Angelinos that it may not open at all until there is a vaccine. I mean, good luck with that. That means no Hollywood, though, as well. And so maybe we have less to hear from Hollywood celebrities.
Okay.
Maybe we don't have to listen to their garbage quite as much. So there might be a bright side to Los Angeles remaining closed. Yeah, we got to look on the bright side from time to time.
You found that silver lining.
Yeah.
But wear a mask in L.A. if you leave the house. Don't forget.
Although wearing a mask might lead to a little something.
I'm sorry?
Got this tweet from a Pathead. Classy lass, I would say is how you pronounce that. As an EMT first responder, be careful when wearing masks for extended period of time. And then we see her demonstration here. This is hypocapnia. Hypercapnia. Mm-hmm. It can be caused by rebreathing your own exhaled CO2 by wearing a mask continually.
Well, that's fun. I'm seeing that a lot. A lot of people are commenting about
hypercapnia.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, this is making the rounds.
They actually are commenting on that. That's fun.
Yeah, this is.
So you could get visually dimmed sight. Auditory problem would be reduced hearing. In your central nervous system, you got drowsiness, mild narcosis, dizziness, confusion, headache, unconsciousness. You could go unconscious from it.
I tell you what. Here's the thing. You want to scare me into wearing a mask everywhere I go? Then I'm going to scare you in return. This is what happens when you wear a mask too much. You're going to go blind. You're not going to be able to hear anything. You're going to get, mild narcosis.
You're going to get high blood pressure.
Oh, yeah. See?
Shortness of breath. Tremors in your muscles.
Two can play this game.
Hey, we can fearmonger just like the left.
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
So great.
But that's not what's causing your rash, though. Have we determined?
No, we have determined that it's not that
the
because
mask.
I've not worn a mask.
It's
so
the
it can't
listening
be that.
to people drone on about
masks and closures and vaccines.
Okay.
And just Dr. Fauci's obnoxious voice.
I could see where that would cause you to just break out in hives and all sorts of
rashes,
stuff. And rashes.
All manner of things.
Nasty.
888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up. I love on CNN right now. The banner is Trump and GOP claim routine intel activity was nefarious. Oh, okay. The routine intel activity. So spying on Trump's campaign, there's nothing extraordinary about that. That's perfectly fine.
Wait, look, CNN just changed the graphic. You said
Fox and Trump pushing the conspiracy.
Conspiracy.
That use of intel tools was nefarious. It's just a tool to spy on these campaigns. Don't even worry about it.
Can we have a video of somebody took liberties with the Barack Obama highway signage out in, I think, California. They updated it. No, not the mass one. There's the video of, look at that. So there's the President Barack Obama highway. There's his former name.
Barry Sortaro, PI, illegal wiretaps, fake dossiers, and election insurance.
There you go. So it's out there in California, I believe. Yeah, it's good stuff.
That is good stuff. I bet the state of California wasn't very happy about one of their signs being defaced like that. But.
When they went out there to get it, were there workers wearing masks? Were they standing 6 feet apart?
I do not know.
Because I know the citizens are expected to.
Got some tweets here. Swankthink tweets, having Greta on a panel discussing infectious disease is like having Michael Fatlump Moore on a panel discussing nutrition. Okay?
Yeah, okay. I mean,
right.
whatever.
I mean, I'll go with that.
Sure, okay.
Pew Pew One Pew, how dare you ridicule the teenage expert and non-scientist? I apologize. She is brilliant. I think we all have to agree on that at least. From Dresh Dog, Keith has a new tagline, Popcorn and Greta.
Popcorn and Greta, tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern on CNN.
And Farrell Brent, of course CNN can't tell Missouri from Michigan. To them, it's just a flyover state, so why would they care?
True.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I also find this fascinating that this Dr. Rick Bright, he was the one that was booted off the president's panel because the guy was, I don't know, spewing his own agenda, and Trump was kind of sick of it. So Rick Bright is out there trying to get his job back and is throwing out so much fear-mongering that if this was a Republican doing the same thing, the media would be all over this guy. Instead, he's a hero. He's a hero because it's so difficult to speak out against Trump, right? With the left-wing media, with the mainstream media. Rick Bright says, our window of opportunity is closing. If we fail to develop a national coordinated response based in science, I fear the pandemic will get far worse and be prolonged, causing unprecedented illness and fatalities. Without clear planning and implementation of the steps that I and other experts have outlined, 2020 will be the darkest winter in modern history. Yeah, thank you, Rick.
Especially if there's no sports, definitely.
Yeah, you know what's going to be dark is if we keep this whole thing going, this prolonged shutdown of the American economy, then it will be dark because you won't have any electricity. We will be so bereft and bankrupt that you won't be able to turn any lights on, and it will be quite dark. It's just amazing that they can't see the other side of this thing at all. They refuse to even look at it. And anybody who does is is just a person who wants to kill people. It's difficult. It's difficult to coexist with these people. I mean, it's one thing to try to coexist with fish, as President Bush tried to get us to do.
Right.
It's another thing to coexist with the left. It's getting more and more difficult every day. Got an interesting photo from Pathead David Herker. Is it?
Yeah, we're talking about these masks, know, and how, in fact, Rob in the other room, he's currently, he just tweeted out a photo of himself wearing a mask, and hopefully that terrible affliction doesn't set in for him until at least 9 o'clock Eastern.
Is he going to wear it from now until the end of the show?
I don't know. Sure. He's experimenting in there. But while it might cause you to, go blind, and what were some other elements? Basically make you...
hard of hearing.
Hard of hearing?
For one thing. Shortness of breath, high blood pressure.
Right? High blood pressure, yeah.
Yeah.
It won't stop the coronavirus, as the box of masks itself says.
I love that. On the side of the box of masks, warning, this product is an ear loop mask.
Okay, got it.
This product is not a respirator and will not, you gotta be kidding me, and will not provide any protection against COVID-19 or other viruses or contaminants.
What? Wait, hold on now. Wait.
Wearing an ear loop mask does not reduce the risk of contracting any disease or infection. User is solely responsible for the selection of the appropriate personal protective equipment for the setting and application. Change immediately if contaminated. Why would I wear it then? What am I wearing it for?
Just a reminder, if you are a citizen of the city of Los Angeles, California, you are required to wear a mask once you step foot outside of your home.
And when you take the mask out of its box, I want you to read the product warning that it is not a respirator and will not provide any protection against COVID-19.
Again, if you want to wear a mask, we have at no time said, oh, well, you're dumb, or that's stupid, or why are you doing that? We're just saying we should not be compelled through the threat of government force to do that, which is exactly what cities like Los Angeles are doing. But what I don't understand is situations like I'm driving down the road yesterday, and a motorcyclist, this is Texas, baby, doesn't have to wear a helmet, so he's not. Cool, got it. But he's wearing one of these blue masks.
Which doesn't provide any protection from COVID-19?
And I'm thinking, if you can get this disease by traveling 50, 60 miles per hour down this county highway, I give up.
Yeah, there's no chance that
COVID-19,
you're not going to get it.
win.
I mean, not only does it not provide protection against COVID-19, it doesn't give you any reduced chance of getting the disease or any infection.
Any infection.
What? It doesn't reduce the risk of contracting any disease.
I mean, that's a company that's
or infection
covering its bases, but at the same time telling us the
Still,
truth.
come on.
That's the truth. You know it, man. It's like, whatever.
Why would you wear it then? Is it a fashion statement? I just want to look cool. That's all.
I mean, do you remember? It wasn't that long ago, boys and girls, when you would very, very rarely in America see someone wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You'd think, wow.
It's kind of common in Asia, it seems like.
Yes, exactly.
For one thing, because of their air pollution.
Sure, absolutely. Now it's just the opposite. If you're the guy or gal not wearing the mask, you are the one who, as Katie Hill, the former representative from California, told us, we're the bad guy.
Well, yeah, you're a predator, you're a killer, you're a genocidal maniac if you don't have a mask on. I mean, that's what you would get from that realtor that we played a couple days ago. Jeez.
Oh, can you?
Her client didn't wear a mask, and she went out of her mind.
What is it like living with her, I wonder?
I don't know, but I would love to show her this warning on the side of the box of masks.
Oh, you know what? I'll find her.
This must not be. Is this not an N95?
No, this is the
box.
No, this is the little blue thing.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not wearing any mask anytime, anywhere. And that maybe that's going to be illegal soon. They keep saying that now Texas is a hot spot for the virus. Yeah, it's because we've opened up, and of course they've got to make that case now. So
It's because we've stayed steady. Mm-hmm. We haven't had this sharp fall off, and so therefore, because you check if you go through Texas's numbers, I had the chart up. It's not like it
was 40,000 yesterday.
Up.
No, I don't think it has. It hasn't increased dramatically.
Mm-mm. No, it has not. No. Anyhow, I can't find it. But
let me just look.
I've
Now,
literally
now you got me curious.
I've got 2, 4, 6, and I just closed a lot of them. I've got about 30 tabs open right now, so I give up. But I remember it was just, it was like a normal little mountainy deal.
A little mountainy deal.
A little mountainy deal. It's like up and down and up and down, but it stayed steady.
Okay, well, according to this, which is the one I look at all the time, Texas is now up to 43,502 infections, 1,217 deaths. You compare that, to a state that has about 2/3 of our population, New York, who has 350,000 infected and 27,290 dead. New Jersey, much smaller, like 1/3 of our population, 142,861, 9,727 dead. You got Illinois ahead of us, Massachusetts way ahead, about double. California way ahead, but they have a higher population. Pennsylvania way ahead. Michigan way ahead. And then Texas. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, despite the fact that we've done this opening of the economy, it really hasn't shot up. Now, are there still infections? Yes, people are still getting the virus, but they might for a while. 888-900-3393. Let me tell you about Patriot Mobile. In addition to their generous support of Mercury One, Patriot Mobile has gone above and beyond to help Americans stay in touch right now by offering customized family plans starting at just $25. Now, you know by now that Patriot Mobile shares your values. Patriot Mobile is the only cell phone company that doesn't give your money to left-wing causes or left-wing candidates. Patriot Mobile is a conservative country run by veterans. I mean, they're great, and they share your values. They won't send your hard-earned money to creeps, and there are plenty of them. So you'll also get the same reliable nationwide service and support, and a company that shares your values, supports the Constitution, and puts people before profits. They make it easy to switch, too, so you can keep your phone or get a new one. You can keep your number or get a new one. And when you join the freedom-loving family of Constitution-loving Americans, they'll waive your activation fee, plus send you a free gift when you use the offer code PAT. Call 972-PATRIOT, 972-PATRIOT, or just go to patriotmobile.com/Pat and get your customized family plan today, starting as low as $25 a month. 972-PATRIOT or patriotmobile.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Are you attempting math there, Keith? Because it looks like you're counting with your fingers.
You saw that?
Yeah, I did.
No, I had just looked up Elon Musk's net worth was like $35 billion.
Yeah.
And then I looked up how much it costs to build a Tesla factory, $5 billion. And so then I was coming up with the 7 cities in Texas that he should build, because he doesn't want to have any possessions, right? He wants to get rid of everything.
Yeah.
So just build 7 Tesla factories. And I was going through the cities. You got Dallas and Fort Worth. They can each get one, right? You got Houston.
Houston, sure.
Austin can get one, I guess.
San Antonio, maybe.
San Antonio, El Paso. And then you need a 7th city. And then,
you're all set.
Yeah. So he should literally move all of his Tesla and just expand his business here. Mm-hmm. He would have no money left. Isn't that what he wants? Is it no money or no possessions? There's a big difference.
No possessions, I think. I think no possessions.
So anyway, I count on my fingers.
He supposedly already has very little money. He's a cash poor billionaire.
Yeah, well, I mean, he gave the masses a simple 90-second lesson in economics.
Oh yeah, let's check that out.
Joe Rogan.
This will make you feel good.
Mm-hmm. Clip 2.
This sounds. I don't know, pretty fundamental and pretty basic, but there are a lot of people as he's pointing out here, that don't understand that concept. They really don't. And I love his point about if you're wealthy, that you've just taken more out of the horn of plenty than you deserve.
That's a good line.
I love that.
Magic horn of plenty.
So great. All right, let's see the rest of this.
Obviously.
Yeah. It's true. And we're kind of seeing some of that, right? We're noticing that because of the disruptions in the supply chain right now, when you go to the grocery store, there's not all the stuff in it.
Well, somebody needs to walk over to the magic horn of plenty.
Yeah, and get
reach
some.
in there.
Right?
Let's
and
get some ground
out.
beef out of there.
Let's get some ground beef. Let's get some toilet paper.
Right? Toilet paper's got to be in the magic horn of
I have been
plenty.
looking everywhere I can for hand sanitizer that I can just put in my car. Nope. I can't find it anywhere. And same with Clorox wipes. I can't find them anywhere. So,
what's it worth to you? I got about 1/4 of a bottle here. What's it worth to you?
$75.
70 sold. I was gonna just say, can I come over and watch like a Falcons game on your big screen TV?
Well, that would take a lot of construction by the state of Texas, who would have to install so many roads between our homes.
Okay, well,
I just don't think they'll do that.
I mean, it does kill the most germs. That's what it says right here.
Oh, really?
It's advanced.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
This instant hand sanitizer.
Good. Okay.
But I'll just go ahead and lock it back up in my drawer here.
All right. 888-900-3393. We'll talk about that horn of plenty and how much stuff the government's taking out of the horn of plenty coming up here in a few minutes. Got some tweets to start out the hour. Andy Stone tweets, another side effect of wearing a mask is you will get COVID-19. Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
you know what? I wouldn't recommend we do this, but if someone starts that rumor, enough people will believe that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, did you hear? Yeah. Now they're saying that if you wear a mask,
you will get the disease.
What? I got to go tell everybody I know. And before you know it, more chaos ensues.
From Gunny A. Can't hear. Sounds like our elected officials have hypercampnia.
Yeah.
Bob Blabla. If California forces people to wear a mask, I would hope they're providing them for free. Otherwise, the government is inducing people to purchase one.
We've been down that road before.
Yep. From Sir Nasty. Well, if you're more worried about catching COVID on a motorcycle than a chance of head injury, the stupid is too strong for help.
Yep.
DMXDM, Elon 2.0 is awesome.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I like what he's doing right now. I really do. Exponentially Haley. That's from
Increasing exponentially. Top 1% and 2% have done exponentially better.
Exponentially
corporate
better.
profit has been up over exponentially.
Exponentially.
Profits have come up exponentially. It's going to be up exponentially.
Right. Keith, tell Elon Musk to build that 7th factory in East Texas. Tyler needs something more than restaurants, a mall, 5 Walmarts, and 4 Starbucks.
Ow.
5 Walmarts.
Wow.
In a town that size, that's pretty good, seems like. That seems pretty good.
Sure does.
I guess radio workers will be eligible for the Heroes Fund.
Yeah.
In the latest House coronavirus relief package.
Martin just saw that and then promptly turned in his notice. But I had to remind him that you have to be working in radio in order to get that. So
I have to find the story that I was reading about one of their plans over the weekend because they wanted a monthly payment to people, to families. So to start with, the husband and wife, if they file jointly, would each get $2,000 a month. So that's $4,000 right there. In addition to that, you get $2,000 per child, up to 3.
A month or just
a month?
What?
A month. That is $10,000 a month.
Wait, is this like an Andrew Yang fantasy world?
It's just one of their many plans that they have.
Can't.
To support people during this troubled time, during this difficult time that we're all in together. It's just a new normal that the government is going to pay you $120,000 a year to sit home.
We need the Elon Musk economics lesson again?
I mean, that's...
You can't just print money.
I had to read it over and over and over again to make sure it was true. And I think they only planned to do it for 6 months. So you'd only make 60 grand from it. I'm sorry you're not making the full 120. But that's how stingy they are.
I can't.
Democrats, man.
And yet there's this other plan that says that radio workers are frontline and we get a hero's pay.
Right.
There's no world where anyone in radio is a
hero.
Come on, man. I can't.
So this bill includes a $180 million hero fund that would provide for hazard pay of up to $10,000. Oh, my gosh. This is a similar plan. Now, is this a month or is this one time?
I don't know. I hope it's never.
Provides hazard pay of up to $10,000 for essential frontline workers. That's us, Keith. We're essential frontline workers.
That's true.
It's equivalent to a raise of an additional $13 an hour on top of the regular wages from the start of the public health emergency until 60 days after the last day of the crisis.
How do you teach kids these days?
The government benefit would be capped at $10,000 for each essential frontline worker earning less than $200,000 per year, and $5,000 for each essential worker earning.
I can't.
You got to be kidding me.
What does this say?
They're even going to pay people who make more than $200,000 a year. Okay, so $5,000 for each essential worker earning $200,000 or more per year.
What? Or more? Is that a typo? I mean, or less? What?
I'm calling my representative to tell them this is a must. We must have this bill passed today. That is so ridiculous.
Help me.
The Hero Fund payouts would be funneled through the employer rather than the government in a lump sum. And the House plan would require the company, not the employee, to file an application with the government in order to access the money. And while the earlier CARES Act left out broadcasters, the third stimulus bill explicitly calls them by name.
Well,
wow.
Look to your left.
Wow.
Look at that little story right there.
Congress?
Right there. Yep.
Look
at that. I see what's happening here. Congress, I see what's up. This is how they're going to take over broadcasting and print. Right here, these two stories.
Congress is looking to help struggling local... Don't help struggling local newspapers. They're obsolete anyway. But they're going to help struggling local newspapers, TV, and radio stations qualify for federal coronavirus aid. Jeez. Yep. The coming coronavirus legislation, expected to be introduced in the House as soon as this week, will include a provision to expand newspapers and broadcasters' eligibility for business loans.
To be controlled eventually by the government.
Oh, yeah.
Just like all these funds are tied to, hey, if you don't pay them back by a certain time, hey, if you don't let your employees unionize. I mean, these are ways they're going to control these industries. This is what a dangerous time we're in.
Apparently, they're looking for some help for the owners of the radio stations
Are they?
The broadcast entities, too. The bill also includes something that's been sought by large media companies, the National Association of Broadcasters and Newspaper Trade Groups. It would make local radio, TV, and newspaper companies eligible for the government small business loan, which we just talked about. This is madness. I mean, absolute madness.
What do you do? What else?
I mean, elect a whole bunch of new people into the government. You got to believe Ted Cruz isn't in favor of that, right? Mike Lee can't be in favor of that.
Oh, not in the least.
Rand Paul can't be in favor of that. Wow. I mean, that's just asinine.
Hey, you want some good news? Let's see. Next week, Yellowstone National Parks are opening back up.
Oh, okay.
That'll be good, right?
Good.
And I'm out of good news.
That was it?
We're done.
Okay.
All right. Glad I could help.
I got some more good news.
Oh, what do you got?
4 horsemen of the apocalypse appear in the book of Revelation.
Yeah.
They're galloping through town right now.
That's good news?
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you want to prolong this agony or do you want to end it? You just want to get it over with.
Oh.
Some Bible scholars. This is from Bible scholar Fred DiTolo. In 2005, he published an article in The Trumpet, where he claimed the galloping hoofbeats of the four horses are getting ever louder and closer.
Okay.
Stating a future pandemic was all that was needed to set free the final horseman who would spread a disease to a quarter of the world.
What's this cat's name?
Fred Dattolo. Dattolo. Dattolo.
Okay.
He said the four horsemen are depicted in the book of Revelation, chapter 6, as the first four of 7 seals. These seals are benchmarks of end-time events leading up to and including the return of Jesus. Then John, as he was instructed, recorded what he saw in brilliant prophetic imagery. And here we are. He saw it a couple thousand years ago, and now we're living it right in the middle of it. One Twitter user said the four horsemen of the apocalypse, representing war, famine, pestilence, and death, as depicted in the Bible, are most likely causing this coronavirus worldwide. We don't see them, but we can feel their wrath everywhere. It's kind of natural that if you're, if you're spiritual, if you believe in the scriptures, that you would think, wow, is this that time now? Because there's a lot going on. And we've talked about it. Between the plagues of locusts marauding through Africa and Asia, the coronavirus, the earthquakes, the storms, we're all at each other's throats on a pretty regular basis.
The Cubs won the World Series.
I mean,
that's a tip-off right there that things are out of whack, man.
And that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
So,
we're living on borrowed time.
Right. Mm-hmm. Also, apparently, Washington State will force restaurants to keep customer logs to help with contract tracing.
Back off.
Yeah, the contact tracing thing is a nightmare. They're actually trying to legislate that whole thing. They've got something called the Trace Act.
Is this a congressional, federal thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, sir.
As long as we're talking about the four horsemen of the apocalypse, we might as well talk about this House resolution from Bobby Rush, Illinois Democrat, that would put big government in charge of tracking citizens' movements as they relate to COVID-19. Even sending health bureaucrats to individual residences as necessary. And get the number of the bill.
This is the one. Yes.
6666.
So
there's 4 sixes.
Oh, then it's nothing.
That's fine.
It doesn't mean anything.
That's fine. But in the article, they call it the mark of the beast. But it's kind of not, right? I mean, 4 sixes aren't the mark of the beast. 3
or maybe
are.
that's the four horsemen.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe in the Bible, maybe it got smudged and it was originally 6666.
So COVID-19 testing, reaching, and contacting everyone act. It's the Trace Act.
I don't think so.
In its $100 billion grant giveaway glory, the taxpayer funds will be used to trace and monitor the contacts of infected individuals and to support the quarantine of such contacts through mobile health units and, as necessary, as citizens at citizens' residences, meaning they will come to your house, knock on your door, and talk to you about whether or not you have the virus.
I'm telling you, man, there's already a county in Kansas that's going to court over this. You got Washington State making that a stipulation of opening back up your restaurant and your business. Meanwhile, Mark Cuban says that's a good way to generate some jobs. Let's have the federal government hire people, I guess in association with this Trace Act, and go door to door. Mark Cuban, if I ever hear this man call himself a libertarian again.
He's nothing of the kind. He's nothing like a libertarian.
Are you for real? There is no person on this planet, save Mark Cuban, that calls themselves a libertarian and says we should be hiring people to go door to door and find out your contacts.
Yeah. And then if you test positive, that means the government makes you stay at home. Now, how do they accomplish that? We don't know that yet, but it's kind of a chilling prospect that if you test positive after a government bureaucrat shows up at your door and they tell you now you must stay home, well, how are you going to enforce that? How?
Seriously. Remember the good old days? I mean, we're talking a good, what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, but how old were you 2 months ago? I mean, I'm not sure.
Much younger.
I don't think I was out of high school yet.
Remember we sat in this room and we saw these terrible images, these videos out of China. Where they're dragging people out of their homes or sealing them up. We're like, man, that's just not how we do things in America. We're better than you. Wow, we are.
And we've
right
seen
there.
all of that stuff happen.
We're right there.
We've seen people dragged out of, their environment and handcuffed by police. We've seen it happen here. Mm-hmm. And we were so shocked when they dragged that person out of their car in China. And then they cuffed that person. And it took like 6 cops or whatever in China to do that. Well, we've seen virtually the exact same thing here.
Yeah, Australia. Remember the mom had the child literally ripped from her arms because she was committing the heinous crime of walking around with a poster board on her calling for the end of the lockdown.
Right.
And you can't have that.
But she was walking around outside. You forgot that part. She wasn't in her home. She was outside walking around. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
Yeah, and she didn't have a mask on either. Those helpful things that we've learned this morning don't stop the coronavirus.
And may actually kill you dead.
Yeah, absolutely. Could just probably kill you.
Breathing your own CO2 for a long period of time.
And you remember how sanitary conditions are where they produce these masks.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, look at that. There they are being produced right now in India. A little sweatshop in India. The guys seem to be dressed appropriately for it.
That's a hermetically sealed room, obviously.
Yeah. And
very
they're
sanitary.
sewing mask after mask, and the ones that have already been sewn just kind of fall to the floor.
Well, a clean floor that they swept 4 months ago. Look at that.
Maybe.
I mean, that's just, help us. But that's what you better have. So help me on your face if you step outside, especially in municipalities like Los Angeles, where it is now the law, if you will.
Yeah. But don't forget, it also does come with the warning that mask doesn't protect you from COVID-19 at all, or any other disease.
There it is, right there.
Not at all.
Product is not a respirator. Here, hold on a second. Let me try this. This product is an ear loop mask. This product is not a respirator and will not provide any protection against COVID-19, coronavirus, or other viruses or contaminants.
Uh-huh. And I like that. I like that first sentence in the next. Wearing an ear loop mask does not reduce the risk of contracting any disease or infection. Oh, okay. Well, then, I'm sorry. Why am I wearing this?
So when Dr. Fauci says, have fun with your Tinder, you can still do casual hookups. That's cool, man. We can do that, whatever.
Yeah.
If you're wearing this mask for protection during said encounter, it's not going to help.
Doesn't protect you at all.
It's not going to help.
But don't worry about that.
Sorry.
Dr. Fauci said hookups were okay at this time. They're fine.
Sort of.
Sort of. All right, let me tell you about Ruff Greens VitaSmart. Dry dog food has to last a really long time on grocery store shelves. So they have to sterilize the food when they make it, and it kills all of the good stuff. The probiotics and enzymes, healthy microbacteria, all of that stuff is gone. But Ruff Greens VitaSmart puts it all back in to your dog's food. This stuff... dogs love it. My dog absolutely loves this. You take a scoop, mix it in with the rest of her food, and then she just gobbles it down. She gobbles it down.
Not up.
Today.
Okay.
Today she gobbles it down.
I'm just making sure. 'Cause people want to know.
So it doesn't matter whether you feed your dog the most expensive food on the market or not. This makes that dog food better. Take the Ruff Greens 14-day Jumpstart Challenge today. See for yourself. It's just $14.95, and I think you're going to see the difference in your dog in 14 days or less. If you want to see your dog thrive again, be frisky again, be really happy and healthy again, go to ruffgreens.com/blaze. That's ruffgreens.com/blaze. 888-900-3393. Also at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. The Steve42 tweets, if you don't make stuff, there is no stuff. That's genius. Also sounds like Joe Biden. Stephen Griffith, if you love the virus so much, you should marry it. Fauci. Still, the funniest thing I've heard this week. Cannot wait for that shirt from the Blaze /sweatshop.
Oh, we need that, yeah.
Magic Horn of Plenty stuff. Elon and that say it with me governor from yesterday should hold a town hall together. Entertainment. Yeah, that'd be great. Constitutional nobody. I'll use this paper mask to stop a virus. I'll also use this chain link fence to stop the mosquitoes.
Right.
Not the same
Wait
thing.
a minute. Hold on. I'm glad he brought up the mosquitoes. I have this thing here. Mosquito-borne illnesses kill more than 700,000 people a year. Mm-hmm. Where's the fear-mongering press on that one?
I don't know.
But a dead murder hornet.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Magic Horn of Plenty theorist tweets, someone get in touch with the Freemasons and Illuminati. Between them, we're going to find the fabled Horn of Plenty.
Horn of Plenty.
I'm sure of it. We will. We'll find it. The other fat guy tweets, if the government can just keep printing money, then why do we have to pay taxes? That's a good question.
That is the greatest tweet.
Great question. Medic Jew, J-U. Pat, does it matter how much does it matter how much they give us if there is nothing to spend it on? Yeah. From Nations Under, 3 words: $1 trillion coins. Problem solved.
Oh, AOC has a burner account on Twitter apparently, or was
Rashida
that
Tlaib,
Rashida Tlaib did that one?
Yeah.
Whatever. I mean, they both share a brain cell, so the same person.
$2 trillion coins, and that's how you pay for it.
We're done.
So easy.
Why aren't we doing that?
I don't know.
Seriously.
We're stupid.
Yeah, we are.
Discarded giblet tissue. HR 6666 is for all the people who have nothing to hide. Flu Manchu. Has anyone asked Cardinal Tobin if we can take a shower yet? All I ever hear is to wash our hands. Oh, yeah. What about the rest of your dirty body?
Bro.
Your virus-infested body. Jim Bicknell. If my Vikings win the Super Bowl, pack your bags and get ready to meet Jesus. The world is coming to an end.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If, and it won't ever happen, but if the Falcons were to ever win the Super Bowl, you better start looking up.
From Swank Think, Mark Cuban is a libertarian the same way Karl Marx was a capitalist.
Yeah.
Indeed. Yes, indeed. Man. All right. 888-900-3393. And at Pat Unleashed on Twitter. In just a few minutes, we're going to hear from Judy Mikovits. She has this video out where she's being interviewed in a video called Plandemic. And she's got some fascinating things to say about what has happened to her in her career. She also talks about Anthony Fauci, the man who we must listen to. Is he over Cardinal Joe Tobin? I don't know, but he's right up there with Cardinal Joe Tobin of Newark.
By what authority did you nullify the Bill of Rights in issuing this order?
I called up Cardinal Tobin,
Right.
Cardinal Joe Tobin in Newark.
Okay. All right, great. Yeah, so
Wow.
so between him and Tony Fauci, you should be cleared with whatever they tell you is okay, is obviously okay. They are the real power on this planet.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk to Judy Mikovits about Fauci, about the coronavirus, where it came from. She believes it was manipulated in some way because she says this, if it happened naturally, where it went from animals to humans, that's an 800-year process. That can take up to 800 years. This happened in less than a decade. So I don't know. Not being a microbiologist, I don't know.
Really?
But we're going to ask her about some of those.
You're
things.
not?
I just play one on the radio. I do play a microbiologist.
Oh, I got to stop passing you in the hallway and introducing you as Mr. Microbiologist. Because that's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
There's Mr. Twitter. You know what? Not today. He's Mr. Microbiologist.
Well, I've got honorary degrees in microbiology
That's what threw me off.
from a number of different universities and institutions.
Oh, yeah? Like which ones?
I can't go into it right now.
What do you mean you can't go into it right now? I'm giving you a chance to lay out your
I
credentials.
don't want to brag. I don't want
as
to
a micro.
brag. That's it's not right to just toot my own horn of plenty like that. 888-900-3393. So we've got her coming up next. Should be interesting to hear what she has to say. We will ask her about all of the fact checks on her. There are several. And get into that coming up on Pat Gray Unleashed. And thank you for returning with me. 888-900-3393. Great to have you with us. As you know, we lead with our mistakes, and yesterday we made a heinous error. It was International Hummus Day, and we did not celebrate it yesterday. I don't know how it got by us, but International Hummus Day was not celebrated on this program, and we apologize. And I just wanted to mention it because you'll want to enjoy some hummus today. I know, albeit a little bit
Can you make up for
delayed, a little
the missed
late
opportunity there?
Yeah, you can. Sure.
And so just have double the hummus.
Double the hummus today.
All right.
Exactly. So far, we've not been able to get a hold of Dr. Judy Mikovits. But we're
try the number.
We're gonna try again with a different number, so we'll see. Now we did alert them because I don't ever want to ambush anybody. I don't want to blindside them. So we did alert them that we're going to ask her about some of the contrasting points of view. Science Magazine, for instance, fact checked some of the things she has to say, and they disagreed with virtually everything she said. But obviously, I'm not a big fan of Anthony Fauci, so I really wanted to hear what she had to say. I'm interested in it, so we'll see. We're still trying to get a hold of her. Hopefully, she'll still come on really early in California, which I guess is where she lives. So.
And do we know that she's wearing a mask right now? Is she in the Los Angeles area?
Wow, could she have passed out? She could have gone unconscious. She might be unconscious right now for mask wearing. Dang, darn it! Dang!
Yeah. That's probably what it is. So anyhow.
All right. Hey, Guy Fieri and Bill Murray are going head-to-head. You're looking for competition? Here's some competition. It's a nacho average showdown, a live event to raise money for Fieri's Restaurant Employee Relief Fund. That's a nice thing that he's doing.
That is cool.
Which gives financial assistance to employees impacted by the coronavirus shutdown. If you've ever watched the Food Network and you've seen some of the shows that he does in his backyard, yeah, his backyard is nicer than most people's living rooms and kitchens. That's for sure. It's nice. So I'm sure he's fine during this shutdown, but he's raising funds for some of those who may not be. So the fund provides restaurant workers with $500 grants. 100% of the donations going directly to the fund.
That's awesome.
And about 8 million restaurant workers are currently unemployed. I didn't even think it was that anywhere near that number. 8 million?
And a nacho making competition between he and Bill Murray.
That's kind of weird.
That's how desperate we are right now. Yeah.
But we'll take it. All right, so we did get a hold of Dr. Judy Mikovits. She joins us now on the Blaze. Dr. Mikovits, welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
So we have seen your video, Plandemic, and I'm really fascinated by it. There's so much information and misinformation. First of all, let me ask you this: you have worked with Dr. Tony Fauci in the past, right?
I have not worked for him. I've worked in collaborative efforts or been paid by NIAID.
Okay.
So my bosses have worked directly with him. Yes, he's quite a bit older than I am.
Yes.
So,
okay.
I was in laboratories working directly with Tony Fauci on projects, mostly with HIV, and then funded when I had directing labs.
Okay, you contend that Tony Fauci delayed some of the treatments for HIV/AIDS?
Yes, delayed treatments, delayed diagnostics, participated in a lot of.
Why would he do that? Why would he do that?
Well, targeting it towards things for which they had patents and targeting it towards biases that, I didn't know at the time or didn't appreciate at the time.
Okay.
But I appreciate that.
So Dr. Fauci, are you alleging that he has patents that he was trying to benefit from then?
Correct.
And that's why he delayed other treatments?
correct.
Wow, that's quite a claim, and pretty astounding. And this is the guy that we're listening to all these years later. How is it that more people aren't aware of this or don't know about it?
Well, we've listened to this for 35, 40 years. He's got quite a bit of power. Mm-hmm. He controls what I've learned the other day. He controls $6 billion of funding through NIAID and other sources. That's an awful lot of power as with respect to publications, who publishes in what journals. So the system is totally broken, and the system is totally broken, and it's been broken for a long time.
Now, are you aware of the fact checking on some of the claims that you've made in Plandemic that say that there's no evidence that Dr. Fauci delayed any HIV/AIDS treatments? There's no evidence that he is benefiting from his patents. Have you seen those, and how do you respond to them if you have?
I haven't seen those because I haven't been aware of anybody actually fact checking. Actually looking and doing the work. Certainly not reading our books or reading the evidence. So that's how I respond. It's not fact checking. It's the only thing I've seen is the Washington Post and the New York Times, which simply repeated the same fraud of 10 years ago.
Okay. Tell me about your situation where you were put in jail and not charged with any offense for some particular time. They apparently thought that you took computer data and you weren't supposed to.
No, that wasn't it at all. My situation was, and this was what Tony Fauci was directly involved in and directed and responsible for in 2011 as data mounted with respect to our research of isolating a new family of human retroviruses that came through into the human virome. They're mouse viruses, mm-hmm. and our data a lot of data showed a heavily contaminated blood supply, just like in the days of HIV/AIDS, and that's primarily how the virus spread around the world as research wasn't done, as we discussed a minute ago. But at any rate, heavily contaminated blood supply and contaminated vaccines with animal tissue, mice tissue, cell lines, cancer-causing viruses that the data supported that are actually contagious, meaning you can catch them through the air. Mm-hmm. So as the data through the summer of 2011, our paper was published in Science October 8, 2009. And as the data continued from literally around the world to show many diseases associated with this family of retroviruses, we were encouraged to withdraw our paper or have our paper retracted. We refused. The data remained correct and true to this day. I was supposed to cover up that the blood supply was contaminated. I refused. I gave scientific talks to support the data. I was fired. My lab locked down. Everything removed on September 29, 2011. Everything was removed from my laboratory. My students and staff were locked out of my laboratory. And while everything was confiscated, my 30 years of work of my office, I didn't have and don't have a single piece of paper, a single computer or data from my laboratory. Some still to this day. On November 18th, I was falsely arrested under what was said to be a felony charge of being a fugitive from justice. So I was fired from that lab from that job September 29th, and literally just came home to California, and 6 weeks later, I'm arrested on felony charges of being a fugitive from justice. And those charges were based on no warrants from anywhere. So it's written in Science. You can look at sciencemag.org. November 19, 2011. I was held without bail, without seeing a lawyer, without seeing a judge for 5 days. As I was told to sign, everything would go away if I signed an apology and a confession that said that I made a mistake and the XMRVs, the mouse viruses, didn't exist. Which I refused to do and refused to do to this day. I still have not had a single day in court. Those felony charges remain at NIH, at the National Cancer Institute. It still says I'm a fugitive from justice. This was all done to prevent me from working on a multi-center study, which would have validated our work and it was funded by NIAID under the direction of Tony Fauci directed and paid the study for. Ian Lipkin directed the study at Columbia University, this multi-center study. And so I'm held under these fraudulent, baseless charges, which weren't dropped until the summer of 2012. The paper is published I'm prevented from going into the laboratory. In spite of this, my colleagues were able to do the study, about 1,000 samples of the study. When they got positive results from the last center that came in, which was from Stanford and Dr. Jose Montoya's center, that study was positive, very positive, highly positive for the mouse retroviruses, and that center was the only valid center, the only patients that were similar to our patients. This is how the government works. They simply make an association go away, not based on data, but based on putting the wrong patients in the study. Despite all of that, we would have gotten a positive result had Tony Fauci not stopped the study and said the government was wasting too much money on this critical thing where all of the studies, even the negative studies that didn't show an association of this virus with chronic fatigue syndrome, myalgic encephalomyelitis, it's called, chronic fatigue syndrome, here to stigmatize the patients, when in fact the blood supply had been contaminated, for probably 40 years or more, back to the days of HIV, part of the HIV fraud. And essentially, Tony Fauci stopped the study, said we're wasting too much government money, and then in September of 2012, published a fraudulent study with Ian Lipkin as the senior author in the journal MBio, saying there was no association with the mouse viruses. They're called XMRV, the retroviruses, with the disease, and in fact saying there was no evidence of the mouse viruses at all, in spite of the fact that the table 3 in the paper clearly shows 6% of patients and 6% of controls. So that's true. There's no association. But 6% of people carrying with positive identification of a mouse family of retroviruses, HIV-like viruses that cause cancer and neuroimmune diseases and lots of diseases, is still 40 million Americans. And so that paper was published those data were published. My reputation was destroyed by editorials and opinion articles throughout Science, the journal, and Nature journals, where, poof, XMRV went away. And that was all under the direction of Tony Fauci, the CDC, the FDA, the same people who are perpetrating this plague of corruption called COVID-19.
We're talking with Dr. Judy Mikovits. Her new book is called Plague of Corruption. All right, well, Let's talk about COVID-19. You have some interesting assertions where that originated as well, right? You're not claiming necessarily that it was created in a lab, but it was manipulated in a lab.
Yeah, clearly clearly the data show. In fact, the 2015 Nature Med paper, these aren't my assertions. These are just looking at published paper and looking at the data. Mm-hmm. So the 2015 paper discussing the emergence of the SARS-CoV-2 virus shows that from the investigators in Wuhan, in collaboration with the investigators in North Carolina, and in collaboration with investigators, I believe, at Harvard and Switzerland on that paper, the paper says they obtained a cell line called Vero E6, that's monkey, those are monkey kidney cells, from Fort Detrick, USAMRIID, the Biosafety Level 4 in Frederick, Maryland. The studies was funded by grants from the NIAID, that's under the control of Tony Fauci, as you know, and they sent the samples to the Wuhan, China lab, the cell line to the Wuhan, China lab, where they grew the coronaviruses in cell lines. And that's by definition not natural evolution of viruses. That's by definition lab generation of viruses. And you can easily pick up sequences and have recombination go along with the other viruses in that cell line, which include HIV viruses. They're simian, they're monkey viruses. It's called SIV, which include gamma retroviruses. There's a number of monkey viruses, the gamma retroviruses, that's the same family as the mouse viruses that we found in people, includes coronaviruses. So you can have a lot going on with recombination there, and that's not natural evolution.
And how long would the natural evolution of this virus take, where it would jump from animals to humans naturally?
Going directly from animals to humans, could take evolutionarily up to 800 years, because that's not how it usually works. Usually it'll go nosocomial through another small animal, and that's what cell lines are. But these cell lines, they're continuously growing. They grow out in a laboratory. You feed them. You can grow up liters and liters, hundreds of liters, and that's how vaccines are made, in these animal tissues, animal cell lines that are continuously growing. So in natural evolution, you have to pass from another animal and see they kill cells, or they can't infect them at all, or these viruses will simply kill the cells. And a virus doesn't want to kill its host. It needs to have replicating cells, to live in. And it needs a place to live. It can't grow in the air, float through the air. That's why all of these measures have nothing to do with public health and the spread of a coronavirus. That's not how they spread.
So you're saying that the lockdown is not necessary?
Absolutely not, and it's actually hurting us from developing immunity. It's making us sick through depression and everything else. The masks are a matter of control. No vaccines have ever been shown to come close to preventing these infections, and the vaccines aren't intended to. And as I've said, the flu vaccines are driving the pandemics. You don't give somebody another kind of upper respiratory infection and then hope they don't get a coronavirus infection, and data support that.
So the flu virus makes it more likely, if you've had a flu vaccine, you're saying that makes it more likely that you're going to get COVID-19?
That's correct. That's what the data support. Not the coronavirus. Yes.
Okay.
That's what the data support.
Wow. Is a vaccine for this virus even necessary? Would it do any good?
No, absolutely not. And people are immune right now, as you've heard through the data. I'm just looking at the data everybody else are looking at. So asymptomatic carriers are healthy people. They have antibodies to the virus. They've been exposed. They've got, if you do the serology test, the correct testing which should have been done and which was delayed again here. This is the same problem that happened in HIV. The diagnostic tests were held up. The treatments were held up while Tony Fauci and Bob Gallo fought over patents with Luc Montagnier, who was the rightful discoverer of the virus, and has the Nobel Prize as is deserved. So yes, the vaccines are driving the pandemics, not just this one. And so the worst thing anybody could do is get a flu vaccine. And I heard Robert Redfield on the news the other night, go get a flu vaccine at the end of the summer instead of in the fall in the flu season.
Yeah.
And that'll prevent the hospitals from being overrun from COVID. And what it'll do is it'll drive the pandemic, and everybody will say, see, we were right. President Trump let everybody out too soon. The virus isn't floating through the air. The people catching the SARS-CoV-2 are not catching it from contact from healthy people. Healthy people are already immune. It's shown the antibodies are, and the virus has been here a lot longer than we were told, and probably came through the company last year in early 2019, and people are already well, and that natural herd immunity would protect our entire country. We should have never been shut down. And the worst thing that anybody could do right now and ever again is get any other vaccine until they're tested safe, and that won't happen for a long time. But the flu vaccine, if people get this at the end of the summer as they're being directed, and you can only assume, as I've said, this is pure evil, because they know full well, Dr. Redfield, that the flu vaccines have been driving these pandemics for decades.
And because of all that you're saying now, the mainstream media and the medical establishment are just simply trying to discredit you. Are you getting a ton of persecution from them right now?
Right now, the last decade. Yeah. This is not our first book. Our first book, Plague, came out in 2014 and described in great detail the scientific fraud that made these viruses. 50 million Americans are walking around with contagious cancer-causing retroviruses, HIV family viruses, not HIV, not a lentivirus, a retrovirus. They don't go away. They stay through the generations. So those are the people who are going to die and who are dying in COVID-19.
We're talking with Dr. Judy Mikovits. Her new book is Plague of Corruption. Where can people get that, Judy?
Yeah, I think you can get it anywhere. Amazon,
okay.
Barnes and Noble, some major booksellers. It's Simon & Schuster, the publishers. Skyhorse, Simon & Schuster, the publishers, and it's available at all major booksellers. I believe it was sold out, but I believe it's back in stock now.
Really fascinating stuff. Appreciate it. Thanks for talking with us today. Dr. Judy Mikovits, her new book, Plague of Corruption, and the video, which is about 26 minutes. If you want to check out more information on it, it's called Plandemic. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Pat Gray, only on the Blaze Radio Network.